It's all for you. Yeah, yo. There whenever it matters, and even more when you feel like it doesn't. Protect you so you never feel like you wasn't. Know I'm right alongside you. Either that or I'm behind you, but always got you. End of discussion, nothing means more. First one to offer is shoulders for what you reach for. Thought I saw the eyes of the world until I seen yours. And know that I ain't see a better view yet. I'm with whatever, so don't ever you fret. Know that you covered, not a hurdle or a heartbreak. A change what a partake, cause none of them won't ever get comfortable in your walkway. My job is to aware you, fully loaded, prepare you for all of the above that I'm never letting get near you. But still in all, give you every advantage I found. Couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, I've been down. Cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
I had to make a choice. The choice was the biggest thing, you know. It's like, what do you do? Do you continue to be the same person, or do you be a responsible parent? And it took a long ass time to figure that out. You know what I mean? And I'm still learning, you know. So.
Do I even want to rhyme anymore? Do I even care about it? Like, I gotta change a diaper. It's crazy, yo. Yeah, man, it's very interesting.
It's a timely hobby. So it's like for me to just play with it and not benefit from it, or especially financially too, like that's all right now. Now you just taking time away from you and your family for no reason.
A lot of times you just like, oh, people could just understand what I'm going through. Like I miss these guys, but you try to make sure that while you out there, it's on purpose.
Happy Saturday.
Same to you.
Yeah, but how you doing, man? I heard what happened in Atlanta. Was it last night about the gentleman who was in the Wendy's parking lot resting, and someone called, and it was a hot mess, and he was trying to run away from the cops, and then they shot him?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just finding out about that myself. Yeah, I don't know, like, with everything going on right now, like, I don't know what that's gonna look like, you know, in terms of, like, because the emotions and everything are already high.
Yeah.
I don't know what the response is gonna look like.
And it's just crazy, man. It's like, unfortunately, it feels like a mixtape, man. And that's the fucked up thing about it. It's like every time we see a video of a unarmed black man getting shot, and it's like, it feels like we're comfortable to it now. It's like we're not supposed to be comfortable to it, but it's like the norm now.
Right. Definitely, like, there's definitely like a numbing of a certain sort to all of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man. But first thing, man. Happy 6th anniversary on the documentary Divided Time, man. Congratulations on that, man. 6 years, man. So I want to give you mad love and props for that, man.
I appreciate that. Time flies. It sounds, you know, it sounds strange, like when you like saying it, like it's been 6 years since we made that. It's just like time blew by since then.
Yeah, man. Can you hear me? Are you good there? Can you hear me? Because I'm kind of hearing static. Are you good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. But yeah, man, it's because the movie premiered in 2014 at the A3C Hip Hop Festival. That's when they not officially, but that's where the private screening, correct? And then
Correct.
You also had a private screening at the Fatherhood Festival in Harlem in 2014, right?
So, well, before that, because the film festival in Harlem was, you know, like part of the different film festivals that I submitted to. But before that, I had a private screening here in Atlanta after the A3C screening. And I actually, after the A3C screening, I actually went back to the film and rearranged some stuff and made some more edits. So the version that screened at A3C is different from the version that everyone else saw from that point on.
But when that first screening and then you got that great applause, how was that feeling, seeing that everyone saw all that hard work you put into that documentary?
It's always a good feeling to get that immediate, reaction, because like when you do stuff electronically and digitally and throw it out there, you don't really have that same effect. Sometimes people like it or comment, but to be there with the audience and feel their energy, it's completely different, and it's a great feeling. That first screening, I was watching it, and I just wanted to change some of the pacing and stuff, which I feel like it made it a better film.
Definitely. And the reason why I heard about the film in 2015, because it was screened at the Black Star Film Festival in Philadelphia. And that's how I connected with you, because that's how I found out. And we had a great conversation. And after I saw that film, it blew my mind, because I've never seen a story told from that perspective. You know what I mean? Never. Like, I'm a lover of music and history. And to tell a story in that dynamic was never told. And it was just so impactful.
So I think part of the reason why I chose that was because we're used to, like, especially when it comes to hip hop, we're used to a certain narrative told when it comes to fatherhood. Is usually wrapped up in like some sort of drama or something. And I wanted to show that there are people who are, dedicated artists who are, serious about their craft and good at it, but also take very seriously their responsibilities and own up to it. They have that level of accountability and responsibility. They're there for it. So I wanted to show that. And as a Black man myself, I know that there's, I've grown up in this society dealing with stereotypes all my life. So I wanted to show that, they're not all true. I wanted to show a different side.
And then the great thing about it is that 6 years now, like today, I watched the film again today, and I still got that same vibe, because there hasn't been anything like that since. Which, again, I'll give you mad props for that. Unfortunately, you would assume that you would see more documentaries like that, but I haven't seen that. So now that 6 years has passed, what have you've had time to reflect on the film? So tell me, like the positive as well as the negative, that if you think about 6 years now, that what's your feeling on the film?
Now I feel like it's I'm glad that I did it. To capture that moment, because so much has changed with a lot of the people involved. So to capture that moment in time, I'm glad I was able to do that. And like you said, with it being like kind of one of it on its own, in terms of like people who look like us in that genre. Right. There's a sense of pride in that. Like, I'm proud that I was able to create something that's a positive impact in a in some in ways that I am really really engaged with, like all about our people. And you know, I grew up with hip hop. You know, I was born in the '70s, so I was there from the beginning. So I grew up with hip hop. I used to be like involved in hip hop, so I have you know, a deep love for it. So to be able to, you know, represent both sides in a positive light, you know, I'm really proud of being able to do that. And then, you know, with it going to the different film festivals and, you know, reaching a wider audience, it's just, you know, important that it's not just, you know, people who already know, but reaching out to others.
Definitely. Buddy Teacher, the name of the film is called Divided Time. And if you have Amazon Prime, go on Amazon Prime and watch the film. I recommend you watching that film. And if you got kids, I would recommend you watching that film with your kids. All right, going back to the questions. Have you kept in touch with the artists from the film? And also, has their children tried to emulate their passion for music?
I have kept in touch with all of them. All of the artists I had pre-existing relationships with, just from being involved in the hip hop community here in Atlanta. So I've stayed in touch with all of them. Some of them I talk to more often than others, but yeah, they're all doing well. Some of them are still creating and releasing music. Mike Flow just released something recently. Stanza has released music recently. Ekondio, Superstition is always, you know, staying busy and putting out stuff. As far as I know, like the children are, you know, it's been 6 years, so it's like they're big and they go completely different and everything. As far as I know, I don't think anyone has gone in that music route, but I do know that Superstition's daughter is involved in video production. So I think she has even like worked on some like videos that he's put online for, you know, like little promotional videos that he's put online for him. And Mike Flow's son was in a video, a music video that he just put out. So he's kind of like still like doing creative stuff, I know for sure. So, and I think Stanza's children are also like, I feel like they're all being involved in something creative, but not necessarily music related, but definitely something creative.
That's awesome, man. And do you want to give a quick shout out to everyone that was involved? Because you had Superstition, you had Mike Flow, you had Damaja D, you had Stanza. Did I pronounce Damaja D's name wrong? You had Damage D. Thank you, Damaja D. You had Snub Zero. You had I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but Ekun Day.
Ekondio.
Ekondio. You had I Read Black, and you had Jaws of Laws in the film. So you had a lot of people in that documentary. So how were you able to get everybody into that story and tell everybody's story within that time frame?
It wasn't easy at all. As far as like being able to incorporate everyone in a way that was significant and in a way that I felt would do their story justice. Because you know, it's easy to like take little excerpts and throw it in, but you know, it's important for me to be able to do it in a way that also represents them well and incorporates who they are, their personality and everything. And sometimes when you're doing like little snippets, you lose that. So to take, I think it was like 9 different people.
Yes.
And condense it down to 55 minutes when, their interviews alone were at least 20 to 30 minutes a piece. Sometimes like Abyss, I think his was longer. It wasn't easy. It's never easy, but I enjoy the challenge. It's the shorter that it gets, the more difficult, because at some point you're gonna be like, it's easy at the beginning because you're like, you're cutting out fluff and everything.
Right.
But at some point it's getting to the point where everything that you cut out is still gonna be good. Like this is pertinent information, but for the time length, you're like, well, this still has to go, even though it's, really good stuff as well. Like, for example, Stanza went into a little more depth about how he felt when he first found out that he was going to be a father, and like the depression and things like that, which would have, contributed to the story. But, I didn't have enough time to really, because I feel like I didn't want to just throw that in there real quick and move on. Like that really needed to be something significant and explored more. So it's the advantage that I had, because I had previous relationships with everyone,
right,
and some of them I had did music videos with already, and some of them I just knew from the scene, or I filmed them performing. It was easy to get people to be interested in being involved in a project, because they knew me and they trusted me, so they were willing to be candid about their experience.
And that's what I got from the film, is that they felt comfortable with you, and so they were willing to open themselves up. Normally, a lot of people are kind of hesitant to open themselves on videotape. So I think that relationship is important. Going to the film, I watched the film earlier today, and what stuck out to me was the quote in the beginning of the film that says, "There's no decision that we can make that doesn't come with some sort of balance and sacrifice." Thinking about that, why did you choose that quote, and why did you choose to start that in the beginning of the film?
I chose that quote because I felt like it encapsulated the whole idea of the film, like exactly what the film was about and what I wanted to say with the film. And I put it at the beginning to kind of set it up, to set the stage as to, what the film was going to be about, like to get people like prepared. Because, it's true, like, especially in that sort of situation, if you're pursuing your passion, your dreams, no matter what decision that you make, whether it's, to go harder at your dreams, or, step back and, deal with the other aspects of your life more, there's, not consequences, but, there's a trade-off, and there's no way around it.
That's very true. And then also, with all the artists that you interview, which artist resonated with you the most? Because sometimes you'll see different. You interviewed the 9 artists, and so which one kind of resonate with your journey a little bit?
Hold on, sorry about that. I'm trying to get this stand. Okay. So it's difficult because I don't have any children. So my journey is a little different. But I think so. I relate to Stanza a lot, just because of the way that he thinks, and I relate to Snub Zero as well, just because of his personality and everything. Not as much as, again, because I don't have any children, but he was married, so he had to balance being a father and a husband and pursuing his dream. Like, I'm married, so I have to balance being a good partner and pursuing my dreams and and my 9 to 5.
Right, and I think the two artists that resonated from me in the film was Stanza, because in the beginning of the film, he was very blunt how, from the projection wise, he was happy to have a kid, and then that immature side, like, oh shit, I'm not gonna be able to hang out with more boys as much. He had that Dave Hollister moment. You know what I mean? And so you're like, damn, this is gonna be the end. And so he had to kind of mature quickly to figure out, all right, this is what it is. I got to make the best out of it. So him, and then also Snub Zero was a little bit resonant to me too, because when he told the story of how his thought process was, let's make this music, let me get this record deal. Let me accumulate this debt. I don't care. I'm thinking about that record deal. And then he has a kid, and he's like, "Oh shit, my credit score is down. I don't have the qualification to get a job because I can't do a resume because I can't tell people I haven't worked in 12 years, so I don't have like a background to go into." And I found that was interesting. I thought those two artists resonated with me the most.
Right. And I mean, that's real. Like, some people will go all in on their dream, and like, well, and you have to have a certain level of confidence in your dream. And he was like, I know that this is mounting up and everything, but I know that I'm getting close. So I'll take care of that. Like, that can wait. I'll take care of that when this pops, because I know any day it's going to happen. I'm going to be set, and I'll break you off, and it'll be all good. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. Or
definitely, and I feel like that
timeline that you wanted to.
Right, and I feel like that resonates in every avenue, whether you're in entertainment, business, whatever you're passionate about. That resonates, that you're willing to sacrifice it all because you see the bigger picture. But at the same time, again, like you said, that balancing act. You have a kid, you want to pursue your dream, but at the same time, are you willing to sacrifice your child for fame and glory and money?
Right. And no. Most of the times, no.
Yeah, it's true. And then like a lot. Oh, sorry about this. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh no, go ahead.
No. I was saying that a lot of artists have that state of mind still today. Is that I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get that record deal, but don't realize, you got to put yourself in a position where, if it doesn't work out, you're still financially secure. Like, a lot of people put their eggs in one basket.
Right. And I think it's a mentality that, people spread. Like, people like, well, there's no plan B. You can't have a plan B, because if you have a plan B, then you're setting yourself up to fail. You don't believe in. So, people just take that maybe way too literally. Like, So, it's kind of like, all right, well, it may not be the most beneficial to your future to have that way of thinking, but people do it. Like, even if it's not like just music people, but anyone pursuing their dream or their passion, like go full on. And there's nothing wrong with, like, some people will work a part-time job while they're pursuing their passion, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes people will say, well, you're not really invested in you and your dreams if you're still doing this on the side. And it shouldn't be like that. Like, we shouldn't make people feel any type of way.
Right, and I totally agree with that. And then another part of the film I enjoyed is that hierarchy vibe. I definitely felt, because you balance out the fathers that have kids that didn't have fathers in their life with the fathers that did have a father, and so you told both sides of the spectrum. And I thought that was important, because their relationship with their father or without their father is a direct effect of how they're going to treat their kids. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, part of the reason why I used the number of people that I did, and the different backgrounds, is because I wanted people watching it to know that it wasn't like, if I just featured one person, it's easy for someone to say, well, that person just, that's their life, and it'll be different for me because X is different. So I wanted to show a variety of people and say, well, some people had fathers in their lives and some people didn't. That didn't stop them from being there for their children. So I wanted to, I wanted to show like a variety of perspectives on the topic. So that's primarily why I wanted to switch it up between people who have fathers, people who didn't have fathers, people who were still in a relationship with the mother of their children, people who weren't. People, who were still like friends, and people who didn't have anything to do with the other person. So, because like anyone can see the movie and grasp onto somebody who's involved in it and say, well, I can relate to that person.
And the one story I related a lot to was Stanza's story, when he was talking about when he was a little kid and he saw his mother told him to see his father, and his father handed him this knot money and gave it to him. And he's like, you know what? Don't give this to your mother. And they go back to the car, and his mother start weeping. And so he gives the money to his mother, and then you hear him say, you know what? When I have kids, I'm not gonna be the father that my father was to me, to my kids. And that resonated with me a lot, because me growing up, like we talked earlier today, when I was little, I got a card from my father wishing me a happy birthday, and he said he was gonna come see me. And he never came see me. And I held that grudge for the longest time. It's like, okay, you give me this gift, so that's it? Like, what the fuck? What about that relationship and that quality time? And that I held that grudge until the last time I saw him was when I was a grown man, and I was at his funeral. And that was, the last time I saw him. So that story kind of resonate with me a lot. And I like how you have that emotional connection with the artists as they tell their stories of how their father were in their life, or they were in their life. So that kind of made an emotional connection.
Right. Yeah, when I was interviewing Stanza, and he told me that it really hit me. And you know, as I was editing the film and the interviews and stuff, I was like, that it stuck with me so much that it made me want to do the little dramatic reenactment that's in the film. I felt like that was a really powerful moment that shaped who he was. So and again, you know, having the privilege of people being very open with their lives with me and my camera. I don't take that lightly, you know, like, so I always want to treat the people that I feature with, you know, that has level of respect, because, you know, without them, I wouldn't have a film. If they didn't want to share their story, their lives, like, I wouldn't have anything. So I want to make sure that I do it justice.
And you definitely did it justice with that film. And then also what resonated me too was Superstition Story. Like, he didn't have his father, but he also had a biological father. And his biological father bought him mixtapes and CD to help him build his passion. So can you talk about that a little bit too?
Right. Yeah. So I think his stepfather was involved in his life, and he supported him in his dreams. Like, you know, he recognized that he had a talent. He recognized that he had an interest, and he supported that, which is, you know, having the support of your family and friends is very important. Like, probably more important than a lot of people take for granted. So I think him having that relationship with his stepfather like that, seeing that, you know, because, you know, sometimes those sort of relationships can be shaky times, depending on like where both people are mentally and emotionally. So I think that, you know, him reaching out to him and supporting him was a turning point for their relationship, and, you know, something that reinforced it and made it stronger, and, you know, probably affected how he saw fatherhood,
Right.
because his biological father wasn't in his life. So it could have easily went the other way, but with his stepfather being there and supporting him, and you know, just, you know, showing him love, I think that really helped him out.
Yeah, definitely. And then also I agree with that with Snub Zero, going back to like when he was his career was about just, you know, getting a record contract. But his father was in his life. Like, I know in the documentary he said he lived like two houses down. So he had the privilege of having his father there just in case he needed help. So I felt like that was a smooth transition. So when Snub Zero had his child with his father, he was able to transition into, you know what, you know, this hip hop thing is not kind of working out a little bit. So let me just get on my shit and take care of my kid.
Right, 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 right. And you know, I think that's important, because, you know, we're not always seeing those sort of images. We're not always seeing those messages, which is another reason why I wanted to do the documentary, because, you know, a lot of the narrative movies or films that we see, like, and I understand people like drama. So, you know, there's that conflict involved in it, but I wanted to offer an alternative to, you know, to show that it's not always that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And, you know, like I said, there are good people doing the stuff that taking care of their responsibilities and being accountable.
And I agree too, is that the accountability. But the one thing too is, artists that are fathers, they're conscious of their content. And I love how you added that conversation to the documentary, is how artists kind of are more conscious of the music they put out, knowing that over time, as their kids get older, they're gonna listen to their music. And
Right.
so, especially the one artist, Stupetition, who talked about making this track about his mom, and his child heard the track, and he's like, "Why are you talking about mom like that?" And he's like, "Well, that was because I was young, I was frustrated, and I wanted to speak the truth." So can you kind of talk about that dynamic?
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, when you have a child, like, your perspective on a lot of things changes. Like, even now, I'm working on a mini documentary with Shah Stimuli, and he has two sons now. And, he talks about how his content has changed because of, again, when you're young, you're not thinking about that sort of thing. You're just saying, and Stanza talked about it briefly in the film as well. When you're young and you're performing and writing and creating, you're creating for your peers who, they don't care about any of that. It's just like, hey, we're living our lives. We're not thinking about later in the future. We're not thinking about the impact that we have. It's just like what's happening right now. So I think, when you become a parent and you slow down for a second and you start thinking about, all the different aspects of your life and your impact, because you're thinking about your impact on this life that's coming into your life. And it makes you think about, everything else. So when you create, you're in a different perspective, you're in a different mind state, you have a different perspective, which it's natural, it makes sense, because you're growing and maturing. So, you're not going to be the same person that you were when you were 20, when you were 18. But I don't think so. I hope. I hope.
I totally agree, man. That's important. But also, I can't not emphasize the importance of those images of family, having the wife of the artist a part of the film too, seeing, Superstition with his wife and the children playing in the park. That visual is humongous. That feeling of affirmation that, this is Black family in its purest form. Or other artists like I read Jermaine and his significant other sitting on the couch, and she's being his worst critic, talking about, I don't like that, that's kind of whack, and then also I like that. So can you talk about that aspect of the film too?
Well, I wanted to be sure that I, showed the full story for everyone. So, again, whether or not they're like really actively involved with their partner, or, they're still a part of that story. They're still a part of that, their journey and that life. So they didn't have, the child on their own. They had to, with someone, whether or not they're like, they're, married or they're living together or whatever, they're still a part of that. So I wanted to show that aspect of it as well, because it also plays into how they approach pursuing their dreams, because they have to take into account this other person that, is involved. So it's not only them and, you know, trying to figure out their work schedule, how long they could be in the studio. They have to figure out, you know, they have to keep in mind the other person in their schedule, in their life, and you know, in addition to their children. So it was just important for me to be able to, you know, include all the different aspects that people have to consider when they're in that sort of situation, pursuing their dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, I was interested too because you know Stanza is one of my favorite characters in the film, and I was intrigued that I didn't see his wife. Is he still with his girl? Is he, what is, or do you feel uncomfortable talking about his situation?
Oh no, I can't remember. I think she may have been in there very briefly. Trying to think, because there was when I was there with him, she was downstairs. But I think there may have been like a very short clip of her and him on the couch talking. But yeah, they're still together. Jermaine Arab Black is not with his significant other. He's actually with someone else now. He actually got married and he has another child. Snub Zero is divorced. Superstition is still with his wife. And I think they recently celebrated maybe 15-year anniversary or something like that, or maybe
Wow.
more, maybe 20 or something. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Abyss is still with his partner. And Damager D is they got married. Had another child, and bought a house. So
Oh
he's
wow.
full grown, like all the way adult now. And he was the youngest. Yeah, he was the youngest in the film. So yeah, like he moved here from Brooklyn, moved down to Atlanta, and just, you know, like matured, like in leaps and bounds.
And that's the one thing I think overall the theme of the film is like the evolution of a man. You know, like you said, when you're in your 20s, you're like, I'm immune to everything. And then when you get to your 30s, you have a kid or whatever, you start thinking about, all right, my financial security. You know, you think about, all right, I need to put something in place. So when you hit your 40s, it's like, all right, I'm in my 40s. I should be where I'm at. Now the goal is creating a legacy, you know, for my children. And so I feel like that's what the film kind of represent in everything in a nutshell. Um, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it definitely represents maturing and growth, because, you know, you have to have that maturity and growth when you're accepting new responsibilities and standing up for it, and being accountable. So you can't do all that and like be immature. So I think it represents that as well. And I think it also represents, you know, Black love. You know, with the partners, with the children, you know, a lot of them also like work together on music and stuff. So just like community and love. I think the film also represents a lot.
And it definitely does. Also, are we gonna have Divided Time 2? Are we gonna have an update documentary, or what's the next? What in the future?
So last year was the 5-year anniversary, so I briefly thought about doing like a short follow up with everyone, see where everyone was, show all the kids being grown and and everything. But I just didn't get around to it. So I'm still hanging on to that idea. So I might still do it at some point. Given everything that's going on currently, I'm not sure when, it would be a good idea for me to, like take cameras and be in people's personal space and all that. But now I'm hanging on to that idea. And I know we talked earlier about possibly doing a follow-up reunion panel in October when it was, initially released. So there's that, and I think they would be, interested in participating. I think it would be cool, to talk to them and catch up, and they could talk about some of their recent projects. Because I think the only person who's not still, creating is Snub Zero. I think everyone else is still creating new stuff.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I like in our private conversation. If you definitely do open forum via Zoom or Facebook, I would be honored to be the moderator. So I'm just putting it out there in the public. So just give me the word, and I'm down for that. With Father Day coming soon. Film is one of my favorite films that I recommend all fathers, no matter what race, to watch this documentary. I think is important. So my question to you: what are your top five films or documentaries that's based on fatherhood?
5 is hard, actually. So I could give you 3 in 3 different genres or different styles. So as far as like a narrative film, I would say The Pursuit of Happiness. And then a documentary, there's a documentary that I came across when I was doing like research for Divided Time, and it's called The Other F Word.
Okay, never heard of that.
And so it's a documentary about fathers who were rock stars or rock artists, and how they balanced like living like that rock star life and being a father. Like like one of them was just like tatted all over, and they showed him at the park with his son and people looking at him weird and everything. So just like how do they operate and navigate those two lives. And after we talked, I thought about some more. So an animated film, I was trying to think of examples, and I was like, across Finding Nemo.
I like that. That's a good choice. That's a real good choice. That came out of nowhere. I would never think about that, but that's a dope one. I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the 3 that stick out to me.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm just gonna put that out there. You're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" But I thought Hoosier was a good movie based on fatherhood. Hoosiers.
Okay.
The basketball film, especially the scene with the father that dealt with alcoholism, but at the same time, their interaction, like he wasn't a perfect dad, but he did the best he could dealing with that alcohol disease. I thought that was dope. And then one of my cult classics, what I think probably is the same with you, is Boys in the Hood. The dynamic between father and son in that movie, I think that kind of, at that time, that was like that first movie that indulged in the black father that's single.
Right. Right.
And that changed the narrative that yes, there are black fathers that's single and they're handle at their business. So I would say those two movies are like, when I think of fatherhood themed movies, I would say those two for me.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Boys in the Hood is a good one. Yeah. Okay.
So now, all right, with Father's Day coming around, what I can't think of that. What the I got it. What do you want to say to people uh, about this film and why they should watch this film?
But I think even though it is about creatives balancing their lives as and responsibilities as fathers, I feel like the film at the very core is can be is relatable to anyone, anyone who's pursuing their dream and has to deal with life's responsibilities in that process. So, you know, whether they're fathers or mothers or what have you, or, you know, musicians, or you're just like an entrepreneur trying to open up a shop, or, you know, whatever it is, there's responsibilities and decisions that you have to make and balance out your life. And I think that, you know, at the core of the film is, you know, you can relate to the message at the core of the film. So, and, you know, make sure that it's, you know, anyone can watch it. It's not like, you know, raunchy or really explicit or anything. So I think it, like you said, you know, if you want to watch it with your children on any day, Father's Day or any day, you know, it's suitable.
And like I said, that's the one thing about it too, is that again, like you said, anyone can watch it. It fits all age demographic. You know, it's not just for people that loves hip hop. It's for everybody. Everyone can take something from the story and apply it to their life.
Right.
And I think that's the universal theme of that movie, is that it resonates, make you cry, make you laugh, make you nod your head. It just encapsulates everything, and it's a wonderful film. Let people out there know where they can see the film or actually get the DVD, because I don't even think anybody has DVDs anymore. But
right,
you know,
right. I mean, I feel like there might be like one or two people there that are diehard. Like, I don't think that DVDs are gonna have the life resurgence that vinyl. I don't think, you know, there's that love that vinyl has.
yeah.
But I think there's a couple people out there still hanging on. So you can, if you have an Amazon Prime membership, you can see Divided Time on there for free. And if you go to dividedtimedoc.com, you can buy the DVD there. It's a DVD and it's a Blu-ray. So, you know, you're covered if you have the newer technology. And on Father's Day, this year, I was thinking about, because I have it available on Vimeo, where you could rent it. So for Father's Day this year, I'm probably gonna, like, on my Instagram, the WFJR Films, I'm gonna put up a coupon code where you could rent it for free. this Father's Day.
That's awesome. If you want, we can team up and I can put it on my social media platform so people let them know. Or if you want to, team up and do like, because I remember Bino Fino, the Nigerian cartoon, they did like a movie watch on a Facebook page where they played the movie on their Facebook page.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, we definitely team up and figure something out.
Yeah, man.
Like I want to do something, especially again, like with so much going on today, just like to give people a break.
And I think for Black men, I think this movie is a great affirmation for all the pain that we've seen for the past couple of weeks with George Floyd, with the recent incident in Atlanta, Ahmaud, Breonna Taylor. I just feel like this film is a great escape from that. And so if we can do our part to get people to just let their guard down and just enjoy a good film, I just feel like I'll be honored to play my part.
All right, I appreciate that. Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you very much.